Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karina. This video I'm going to be completing a memory spread from last year, November of 2019, specifically for the week of Thanksgiving. And I'm going to be stamping this spread. I usually use my Happy Planner sticker books, but this week I'm going to be stamping. I love stamping. It is one of my most creative outlets. It is a lot of work. There's a lot of mess, and you are 100% guaranteed to make a mistake when you're stamping, but I love it. I embrace it. Again, it is one of my most favorite things to do in my memory planner. So I am going to be using stamps from a shop called the Sassy Club. And you can find her online, thesassyclub.com. And these are the decorative stamps or the decorative sets that I've decided to go with this week because it is a fall week. It is the week of Thanksgiving, so I thought these would work well. So I have the stamp set called I Fall For You. This one is called Gather. This one, I don't know if it's still available. I think it was just called Foxy. And this one is called Foxy Darla. And this is her artwork. She has the cutest characters. So these are going to be the decorative stamps. And then more for the functional stamps, I have the Stitched Alpha and I have the Countdown, which I'm going to use to obviously date my spread. And the Alpha, I have not used it before. But it does come with die cuts. So I'm very fortunate to have these because if I don't have the die cuts, then I have to fussy cut each and every letter, and that's no bueno. So I already am gonna have a lot of fussy cutting to do just with the decorative stamps. So I'm happy to have at least some die cuts. And then I'm going to be using a stamp set called Banner It. And I've used this one a lot in the past, as you can tell. And then this one is just called Circles. And I thought I could use this for my wording or lettering in some of the memory for that week or that day. So these are, like I said, more of the functional stamps that I'll be using, and these are my decorative stamps. So the first thing I need to start before I even get to the actual spread is I need to start stamping. So I need to start putting these down. Now what I do, now this is just my process. Everyone has a different process. Oh, and I will be using Memento ink. This ink it's a dye ink, so it gets absorbed into the paper, and it's really works very well with Copic markers, which is what I will be using to color in my stamp. So I will be using Memento dye ink. So what I do is when I start stamping, I just stamp a bunch of images, and I use my stamp. I should have probably found the exact term, but this is kind of a stamping pad. It is a tool where you can stamp multiple images at one time, and you can stamp it over and over without getting kind of a mirrored or double image because the stamps stay exactly in place, and then you can stamp it for a darker outline. I will be using this tool to stamp my images. The paper I'm using is a hammer mill. It's a pretty thick paper because I am Copic coloring, and I believe it's an 80-pound paper. So let me go ahead and get some images stamped down here. Let's get her opened up. So you might notice that I have different packaging for the same shop. This is her packaging. This is how the stamps show up. And I usually wreck these things. They're not, it's sturdy, you can use it, but usually they rip, they tear, and see, I'm already having a hard time getting them out. So I just use my own little pockets. They are Avery L pockets, and I got them on Amazon. They come in all different sizes, and then I just use my own label maker to put a little label there on the side. So that's why there's different packaging. Okay, so I think I'm going to use, so you just take the back of the stamp set off, and let's see, I'm definitely going to use the girls because the girls are so cute. So let me get the process down of getting these images stamped. And oh, I'm not doing this right, sorry. The smooth side faces up. Let me get the process down of getting some of these stamped, and I will be back. The next stamp set I'm going to use is the I Fall For You. I've used this one in the past. It's super cute, super festive, and I love the little pile of leaves here. So I gotta use these little guys. All right, I went and pulled some ink. I think I'm going to do my date headers in a green. The Sassy Club, she also sells her own pigment ink, and I'm going to use this color called Alligator. I want to see how it looks before I commit to putting it down on my planner page. So let's see exactly how this looks. And I'm going to use a piece of scratch paper. And by scratch paper, I mean one of my printed papers that I have room on, so I don't waste any more paper. Okay, so let's use this little stamp here. We grab my stamp block. Here is a smaller size stamp block. It's a size C. It's a Stampin' Up! Acrylic stamp block. So let's see how this looks first. Oh, I like it. Okay, I like it a lot. It's very fallsy. It's a nice, deep, dark, well, semi-dark green, which is good because it's fall. So we still have green in the air. It's just not bright green because the trees are about to change, or the leaves, I should say. Okay, I had to double check on the date. So I am on the 25th right here. So let's see how this looks. So I want to just share a stamping tidbit that whenever you're stamping, always have a dish for your cloth. Whatever you're using to wipe down your stamps, always have a little dish on the side to put your cloth in. It is one of the best solutions to making sure you know where your cloth is at, making sure your cloth isn't getting any of your items wet, and it just kind of has a little dedicated home. Nothing fancy, anything, a cup, anything. Just kind of make sure you have its own space. The cloth needs its own space. So, okay, let's see how this is gonna look sitting inside that banner. I really like the black better than using the pigment ink. I just feel like it's easier to read. It'll show up better. So I'm gonna go ahead and manually stamp out my dates, and then I'll just have to fussy cut them, and then I will glue them or stick them onto my memory page. So I'm gonna do that next. So luckily I stamped extra, and I knew I wouldn't get all the numbers right. Like this one's too low, this one's too bold, I guess. So just always stamp a couple of extra, always. I mean, if your stamps are out and you're stamping anyway, just stamp a lot of the same image, 2-3 times. And that way it gives you some room for error, because trust me, when you're creating, you're gonna have error. You're always gonna have error. But that's good. Sometimes it's a pleasant error, and sometimes you're like, I give up, I'm stopping the project. But okay, so we got our numbers down. Now I'm gonna do some coloring, and I will color in a little bit. So if you guys wanna see my beautiful mind map, road map here, let's see, where is it? My craft room is a mess. Luckily, the frame is only like this big. If you could see what I'm surrounded with, it's a little frightening. Okay, so here's all my images. These are just a basis. Like, I'm gonna get into all my stamps probably 10 more times. I'm gonna use as much as the little decor as I can, but I'm going to stamp it directly onto the page, and maybe I'll use colored pencils. Maybe I'll use a pigment ink, which does not dye through the paper as much. We'll see when we get there. Right now, I'm just trying to get started. I'm just trying to get some images to play with. So let me figure out what I'm gonna color. Oh, I was gonna show you my beautiful mind. So here is my color scheme. So I sat down with my Copics and some of my art supplies and really found the colors that I wanted. And these are all the, Copic color names if you wanted to screenshot it or whatever. These are just the colors that I'm using. So here's where I'm going. And I have my bag of Copics that I'm going to use. This is my bag. This is just the Copics that I'm using. So I've already pulled them. And I think what I want to start with is, I'm going to start with my Fox Girls. And I have a couple of images. So if you mess up, that's fine. You can always try a different color the second time you do it. So let me go ahead and start that, and I will be back. Okay, we got some colors laid down, and I'm not hating it. I mean, it's not the best. Honestly, I haven't picked up my Copics in, man, a few months. I would say, oh my God, 3 or 4 months. So I'm a little rusty, but as I continue on with my coloring, it'll get better. So what I'm gonna do is I will continue to color in all my pages, and then I'm going to cut them out. So with the magic of editing, I will go ahead and continue on with my coloring. I'll cut them out, and then I'll have a nice stockpile that I can use to start putting all of my pre-printed stamps down on my memory page. So we will see you soon. Okay guys, I finished all of my Copic coloring. I cut all my stamped images out. I really like the color scheme and the way it's coming out. It's very fallsy to me. So the next thing I am going to do before I even start laying down any decor is continue on with my stitched alpha. So I need to make some words with the letters here, and I went through and kind of looked at my memories for the week, and these are the words that I want to make with my letters. So again, I have not used this alpha set. In case you guys are wondering, again, this is a Avery L pocket. And then what I did for my die cuts, or my stamps that come with die cuts, is I just picked up some of these vent covers. They're like magnetic vent covers that I got at Home Depot, and I just cut it down to size, and then that way your die cuts will stick in a nice place, doesn't move around. So, okay, the next thing I'm going to do is cut. These are just wire cutters, and I'm just going to cut these guys out, and I will start making the words. Okay guys, I'm going to take out my stamping pad again, and I am going to lay down some of this alphabet. I was just messing with some colors here. Let me cut this down a little bit. And I'm just cutting it down because eventually I have to run this through a die cutting machine, and it needs to be very thin, kind of in lengthwise, needs to be more of a rectangle than a square. So I am just going to lay down the entire alphabet because no matter what, I need all of these individually cut out because I'm going to be doing some masking to make my, sorry, trying to do 2 things at once, to make my words. And I'll show you what I mean if you're not familiar with the technique of masking. It basically means you cover up a stamped image with a piece of paper, and it gives you the illusion of something being behind or in front of your stamped image. And again, it's called masking. Tons of informative, educational, I don't know what word you want to use, videos on YouTube that I recommend if you want to try it out. Definitely look for a stamping masking technique, and so many videos come up. So just bear with me. I'm just kind of showing you behind the scenes of how the stamped spread comes together. So I will be back once I get the alphabet cut, stamped, cut, and eventually start making my words. So what I'm doing now is just taping down my die cuts onto my stamped images, and I am just using a, I guess, medical tape. It's a surgical tape. I got it on Amazon. It's really light, tacky tape, and I just need something light to kind of hold down the die cuts in the cutting process so they don't move around. And anyway, just kind of showing you again behind the scenes how it all happens. And it may look like a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but it's fun. It's really fun to kind of create and see how the whole spread will come together in the end. So just giving you some commentary on what I'm doing, just cutting some pieces of tape down and laying down the die cuts. So this is something that I do with all of my new alpha stamp sets. I won't do this every time. I'm basically just making a set of cutouts that I can use to do my masking technique. So when I'm done, then I will save them on the actual alpha set like this so that I have them, so in the future when I need it, I can just kind of pluck it off and use it for future masking. And I will save these little pieces of tape, and I can just stick it on the back of my image, and I can just hold it down to whatever it is I'm trying to mask and use it that way. So the reason I like this surgical tape is it's very delicate. It doesn't rip your paper. It can go right on your stamped image, and it doesn't take any of the ink off. It's very, very delicate. And again, I got it on Amazon. Really like the surgical tape to use on craft projects. Very delicate, very light tackiness. So I'm done with my die cuts. I'm gonna go ahead and put those back into their home. That way it's one less thing. It's kind of like a chef's kitchen. You want to keep your workspaces clear as possible, as clean as possible. Okay, so now here are all my alphas, right? Okay, so now I'm just going to put them on my stamped set here so I have them all in order. So that's my next step I'm gonna do. We got the die cuts stuck onto my stamp set, so now I'll always have some cutouts when I need to do some masking. They will be ready to go. So like I said, I looked through my memory plan or my pictures and kind of wrote down the words that I want to make, and I think I might even be able to fit all of them on this little piece of scrap Copic paper that I was using. So the first one I want to do is B-Day. We are done stamping out my words that I want to use. I cut them out. It's not the best, cut job, but it is good enough. So Awesome. I got all this done. So the next thing I'm going to do is let's start laying down kind of the layout of the spread for the week that I'm trying to plan. So here is my pages, I should say, that we are going to plan. So here are, I keep this little bag and it keeps all of my stamped images after I cut them out. Keeps them all kind of together. And I recommend if you are stamping and you're doing your own fussy cutting and you're just going to be working on it for a while, have a little bag that you can just put your images in so they're not, you know, falling everywhere and you're getting them misplaced. Okay, I also pulled some washi. So here is some Simply Gilded boutique washi that I pulled, and it's a rose gold, if not maybe even a copper, sort of copper bow. I don't know if you can pick up the detail on that, but I was thinking that the color goes really nicely with the Copic colors that I chose to go with. So I also need to pull my photos. So here are the photos that I'm going to be using this week. So I need to throw those down, and here is a reminder of the memories that I want to keep. So I'm going to just keep that open to the side, and let's start thinking about how we are going to bring all this together. So I think the first thing I like to do is I'm going to lay down my washi just to kind of get some sections put down here. So let me do that and I will be back. Next thing I want to do is put down my dates. So I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to date each day, but let me at least pull out my date numbers and kind of think through the layout that I want. Okay, I think I'm just going to kind of lay them down like this. So I was going back and forth if I should be brush lettering in Monday, Tuesday, or an M, T, W. I don't think I am. You kind of get the gist. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you kind of know what day it is just with the date and not actually writing the day of the week. So I am going to white out the printed day of the week here. Okay, I wanted to share the two options that I use to glue down my stamped images. I have the Tombow liquid glue, and I like this because there are two different tips on it. So you can get a fat or a very detailed fine tip, and all the stickiness stays behind the image. And with the, is it Exron sticker maker? You just kind of put your paper in here, you pull out the sticker paper, and it turns your image, your stamped image, into somewhat of a sticker. However, I have noticed that with my gadget here, sometimes the stickiness folds on top of your image, so the top of your image can become a little sticky, and when you close the page and then open it, it'll sometimes stick. So you kind of have to be very, very gentle with using the Exron sticker maker, whereas the liquid glue, the Tombow liquid glue, is much more precise. The only drawback is it's glue, so there is a waiting period. You just have to be mindful of where you've glued things down, because if the glue's not dry, it can shift around a little. But just a little amount goes a long way. So let me get these glued down and I will be back. Okay, we got the days of the week down, and if you've watched my videos in the past, I usually always have to start with my sidebar for some reason. I don't know why. I have this flow that I have to do. So let me see what I'm gonna do to my sidebar. And these are all my stamp sets that I told you I'd be pulling from throughout my spread as I bring it home. And I think what I wanna do is pull out one of these banneret sets. And I do have die cuts for the banneret set, but I don't think I need it because I just need one little flag right here. So, I think I'm going to use, let's see, which one shall I use? Also for the month of November, sorry, I just forgot what month I was planning for. November. I am not going to use the stitched alpha because it's too big. November will go all the way across. So I do have a sticker. I'm going to use a sticker that matches. I think it matches this. So one second, let me pull it. So here is my sticker book with the months from Chrissy Ann. I picked this up at Michael's maybe a year ago, and I'm still pulling from it. But I think, I mean, they're kind of bubbly matches, so I'm just gonna use it. I'm gonna pull November, and her stickers are excellent quality. They're almost like a vinyl, but Chrissy Ann Design is her shop name, but like I said, I got this at Michael's, so. Okay guys, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I am going to stamp some of these little leaves on directly to my Happy Planner page. And I'm going to use a pigment ink. I have these two pigment inks. One's called Pistachio, one's called Alligator from the Sassy Club. She sells her own pigment inks. So let me pull these. This is my ink pad swatch book. I have a video on my swatching process, but let me see. I need to pull some yellows. And I got some greens. Let me see if I have any yellow from her, from the Sassy Club. Okay, so I have straw khaki, which I think I will also use. Straw khaki. That might be too, I don't know. This Tweety might be too bright. You know what? It's the only other yellow I have, and I don't have, oh, I do have, okay, I like these two. Let me pull these oranges. That is in the Spooktacular set. That's Cotton Candy, and that's obviously Pumpkin Patch. And you guys, I have no idea how this is gonna turn out. I'm just trying to stick with the same color family. Okay, let me just find Tweety. That is in Summer Brights. Let me grab that. Okay, I have Tweety. So what am I doing? What am I doing? So I'm gonna put the second half of the week to the side because we don't really need him right now. Okay, focus. I need a smaller block. This is the smallest one I have, and we're gonna be using these teeny tiny little leaves. So let me grab a small block. How cute is this block? It's so tiny. It's a size A. All my blocks are from Stampin' Up. It's so little and cute. Okay. We're gonna use the leaves, and I got some scratch paper. I'm just gonna rip it because I need just a small little piece to blot on. So that's how this is gonna look. We're gonna do some greens. This one is the Alligator. And the reason I'm using a pigment ink is because this ink sits on the paper. It doesn't really absorb like a dye ink would, so I'm not too worried about the ink soaking through. Okay, so I got a few in the Pistachio. Just clean that off best I can. I don't have my drying pad, so I'm just gonna dry it on this piece of paper. And then let's do some Alligator. I hope you can see their leaves and not little diamonds. So let me clean him off. And then I'm going to use another little leaf here. So tiny. Okay. And I'm going to use these oranges. So let me start with the light one first. And now I'm going to use a pumpkin patch. So that's how they came out, and I don't know what I'm doing. I seriously have no clue what I am doing. So I hope y'all not looking to me for any kind of plan here. We're just stamping. Okay, so my idea was to lay that November right there. And I really like this little combo I had here. This little fox girl, sitting on top of a little tree stump. And what I think what I want to do is maybe stamp that as one image because it would look really cool. Does that look weird? Should I take it all the way down? I don't know. Oh, here she is. Here's my other set. Just thinking about putting her like that. Okay, let me let the leaves dry and we will come back to this section. So I only have one photo this week and it's a swim picture, me and my daughter, and she does not look happy. She has like this little scrunched face, but I do have, where is it? Right here, swim. And we can kind of put that down like that. Okay guys, I keep kind of moving things around and I think I know what I'm gonna do here. So I'm gonna carry these leaves kind of all the way down. It looks like it's weird where I just kind of stop it right there. So I'm gonna bring them all the way down and continue on with that stamping. So I didn't use yellow at all in here, but I think I'm gonna pop some yellow in just to kind of bring those three colors that I'm using. So the orange, the green, and the yellow. So I think I'm gonna go with Tweety. And let's see how bright that is first. Oh no, it'll go nicely. So I'm just gonna use the last little leaf design and start stamping in some yellow leaves in here. I apologize, this is straw khaki. This is not the Tweety. So this is a very light yellow. So as a stamper, you will get very used to seeing the discoloration in your clear stamps, and that actually makes them stamp clearer, crisper, because there's sometimes a residue on your stamp, and I'm picking the smallest stamp to give you an example of, but you can sometimes take an eraser and take off that coating, I guess, and by doing that, or just by stamping, just by using it, it does improve the image of your stamp. So that's just a little tidbit. Okay, I think I'm ready to commit to laying down November. I don't know why that's not sitting well with me, just kind of laying November down there. So here we are in the official part of the spread where I start getting overwhelmed and I get paralysis by analysis over here. I think I'm gonna commit with her and I'm gonna lay her down. I kind of like her sitting up there. So Monday was a big prep day, so I'm going to put my word prep kind of like right here because I had to get a lot of things done for Thursday, which was Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna commit to putting my prep wording kind of like right there. And I have this stamp set called Gather, and I think I want this, what do you call it, title, header. It says all the details, and I'm going to write down kind of what we had to do. And instead of using black, I think I'm going to go with this green and see how that looks. So I will write down kind of what I did that day, and I also was able to meet up with my husband for lunch on this day because I was kind of in his neck of the woods. So I'm gonna write, lunch on this little billboard here. Okay, the sidebar is coming together. I don't love how my font came out, but we're just gonna go with it. And I'm still struggling with what I'm gonna do with my month area. Like, what am I doing? I don't know, it just doesn't look great to put that down there. I think I might have to, I don't know. It's seriously driving me insane because I'm not happy with the way it's looking. Make sure I put a little fox up here. It's looking okay. So I'll fill in the memory here. This was lunch with my hubby. I also like these little leaves over here with my little boy. I think I'm gonna put him down right there. So let me get this glued down. So I usually use a black brush letter pen, but I'm going to use this brown. I also picked out some other fall theme, fall color brush pens. So this is a Tombow dual tip brush pen. These are Pentel small tip. This is a larger brush. These are smaller brushes. This one as well. And then I have some Tombow Fudenosuke brushes that are kind of a hard tip. So I don't know which ones I'm going to go for yet. I kind of think I'm going to use this brown one, but let me test both of these out and see which one I like most. I think I'm going to use the darker brown because I feel like it goes with the washi tape better, the girl's hair color better. So I'm going to go with this darker brown. So I've committed to where I want to place my stamped images. I still have a really good stockpile over here on the side, and I knew I wouldn't use all the characters that I cut out and colored. I just stamp, and then now I just have a little stockpile I can choose from and fill in the empty space where I feel like it can use a character. So I think what would help me right now is if I wrote in some of the memories. So I think I'm gonna work on that next. On this Tuesday, it was very much sweater weather, so I am so happy I have a stamp that says that because, like I said, it rained all day and it was just really cold, just kind of the season of fall. And I'm going to try, and I hope it doesn't ruin it by cramming too much in this box, but I want to put this little sweater here. You know what I think I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. Why didn't I think of this? I am going to stamp it, and I'm just going to Copic it, and I can cut it out. So I'm also going to, I think, just take my time and give my wording a little bit of a pop with this Uniball Signo white gel pen. And it's actually not my favorite one. I don't know why I grabbed that. My favorite one is the Jelly Roll. This one lays down just a nice opaque white image. This one kind of dries, it's almost like it dries clear. I don't know, that's just my opinion. So I'm actually going to use this Jelly Roll and give my words here just a little pop. I'm going to throw some highlight on it. So I'm using Pumpkin Patch, the pigment ink, my Sassy Club Pumpkin Patch. And I think I'm just going to stamp Gather. Okay, I got my ink dropped on my picture, so I'm gonna have to reprint this picture. So let me do that and I'll lay a replaced picture down. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. So let me just keep moving on here. I was gonna cut my pumpkin out, but I think I'm just going to stamp this cute little orange pumpkin right here. And now I'm just tinkering. I really am just tinkering. I'm just filling in the empty spaces, thinking about which memories I want to write down. Okay, I got my photo fix. Oh no, we're moving on. I can't spend any more time on it. Okay, there's little things that I want to do to just improve the overall look of how everything's laying down. I'm really focusing a lot on like the first half. I'll get to the second half, but I just feel like there's these little things I can do to kind of get me closer to finishing this up. So I'm just gonna throw some back shadow, some like backdrop on some of these images to give it more depth. I don't know if it'll look good. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna mess around with some of the backdrop coloring. Memories are in. I have all the pictures that I want to use. I am going to use one of my pocket protectors that I've used in the past. I took a really nice picture of our dinner before we sat down with all of our closest friends, and I want to remember that. It was our first official hosting Thanksgiving, so I just kind of want to remember how it looked, how everything came out. Might have to trim this guy down, but that was my table, and I just got to think about how I am going to put this together. So that'll be my next project for the overall spread, but it's coming out so good. I mean, this is my favorite thing to do, is just to stamp and take my time. And this spread, no joke, I have been working on this for, oh my gosh, almost a month now, because I've had to stop and then continue on with it. But that's how it goes. When you start a project, don't think you're gonna finish it same day, especially if it's something as ambitious as stamping out a memory spread. So I'm still not done with the spread, but I want to stamp it because I want to make sure my images aren't going to get cut off. So I'm just gonna, yeah, that's good. I was really worried about her, but it looks like she should be fine. And again, I'm just stamping in some punches here so that I can put it in my memory planner once I'm done. So that looks good. All right, I don't know honestly if I am going to put anything in here. I kind of just like it empty. It looks like it's given it a little breathing room. I do have some more images, but honestly I don't know how much more I can fit. I can fit in here. I feel like I'm really packing in the images here. Put a little mushroom up here. I don't know. Let me sit with it for a while and see what I think, and I will just keep, I'll just keep tinkering with it. I keep saying that I'm done with my spread, and then I see something that I just want to just play with a little bit more here. Okay, I think this is pretty much as good as it's gonna get. This is my stamp spread. I love it. I think it came out great. It was so much fun to put this together. It was a lot of work, but it's it's not work when you love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys stay to the very end of the journey. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And to all my subscribers, thank you so much. My new subscribers, I so appreciate you. Thank you just for all the love, the support, the interaction. This has been so much fun. And I can't wait to do another spread. So I will see you guys all very soon. Bye.